This video is going to walk you through how to make a bat fang piñata for your Wingfeather themed party. Welcome to Celebration State, where we help Christian creatives to grow in their creativity and in their love for God. So here's what I'm going to say about this bat fang piñata. I'm going to list out all the materials. I'm going to put some music in the background. It's going to be super fun, but I want to tell you, you need some time to make this thing, okay? So if you're like 2 days away from the party, you're either going to stay up all night making this thing right now, or you're going to go with a different idea, because it takes a few days to make this thing because the glue takes a long time to dry. And maybe that depends on your climate. If you live in Arizona or something like that where it's super dry, a desert climate like I used to be from, then things dry very quickly. But if you live where it's humid, any trace of humidity, and it's going to delay the drying process a long time. This process is also very messy. So you're gonna want a tarp or some kind of surface that you do not mind getting a bunch of glue and probably, the coloring from the paper running and all kinds of things on the ground. Even though you think it's going to be nice and neat, it is not going to be nice and neat. So prepare a space with a tarp or do it outside in a place that you can get glue off of the floor after you've done it. So without further ado, here's the process of how I made our bat fang piñata. Some of the materials that you're going to need are bowls. You will need 2 different bowls for the head and the body to stand up and dry in. Not very big bowls, because you want the balloons to be able to stand up in the bowls and have no sides touching that are covered in paper mache. So just the bottom part there. What you're going to do is you're going to paper mache a big balloon. So you'll need 2 different balloons. One you're going to blow up big, the other one you're going to leave small. You're also going to need a big bag of candy. You can buy these pre-mixed, or you can kind of get a bunch of smaller bags and mix your own. You will need also poster paper, the kind of poster paper that they use for school science projects to display. It's like thick and hard. And that's what I used. I used black poster paper for the wings of my bat fang. You will also need some sort of rope that is strong enough to hold the weight of this thing and the impact of kids whacking this bat fang. We used a thick stick to tie it off on inside the bat fang piñata, but you may want to use something else like a PVC pipe or something else that's going to be a little more sturdy. Our stick did break at one point, and that was very sad, but it was a very old stick, so that is what I will say in my defense. And then you'll also want one big bowl for your glue mixture, which was about half water, half glue. You can modify this if you want it to be less runny. You could put more glue in it if you want it to be thicker. You're also going to need a lot of paper. And what I used for this was that same big bulletin board type poster paper that you can probably get at a school supply store. Link will be in the description if I can find any for you online to purchase that's thin enough. You don't need it to be super thick. You are also going to need some black tape, and this is what I used to attach the head to the body. Eventually, you will need some sort of a bowl or a vase to sit this on that's going to be steady when you put the legs and the wings on. But you can probably find something around the house for that, I hope, in a pinch. The poster paper is also going to be used for the hands and the legs of the bat fang. You may also want to use some paint or tape on with construction paper, some sort of a face at the end. So either get construction paper or get your sort of white paint and your red paint ready. And you'll also need a high place to string the rope from, of course, like a tree, or I've seen this done also on a patio before. And at the end of it all, you will need a bandana or something to tie around the kid's eyes, and some sort of either stick, a baseball bat, or a PVC pipe, whatever you want to use. We thought about writing on a stick or a PVC pipe, lizard kicker for Lily, but we didn't end up doing that because we didn't have enough time. The things that are going to take the longest time are making the body and making the head. So for these balloons, you're going to want the body to be pretty big as you can get your balloon to go, and then the head to be smaller, something that would be able to just sit on top of that. It's not going to have a neck. We're going to lose the bottom parts of our balloons because we're not paper macheing them. It's better when you're trying to make the little pieces of the paper that you just tear it with your hands long ways and then rip it up smaller after that. You don't want to use scissors because the lines when you tear are just more organic, and so they're going to be able to blend together a little bit better. And this is the longest part of the process, is dipping the paper into the glue and water mixture and then putting it on top of your balloon, trying to make the balloon not fall over, and letting it all dry, making sure that you have good coverage. One mistake I ended up realizing is that the glue combined with the poster paper that I used are extremely strong. And so when the kids were trying to whack this thing, they really could not. I mean, they could, but it didn't break open. So I would recommend doing maybe one less layer than I did. It is going to take at least a night for this to dry, and I'm at least gauging that for you all. In Tennessee, it took longer than a night. I don't think it was totally dry until maybe like 2 days or something like that, but you probably could help it dry with a hairdryer if you needed to in a pinch. Once they are totally dry and they are ready for the next step, you are going to pop those balloons, and you can get your kids involved because my kids thought that part was super cool. And here's something that I didn't really consider, is that you have to have all of the candy into the bat and also have the rope into the bat before you can close the head on top of it, right? Makes sense. When you are deciding where to put the hole that the string is going to hang from, what I recommend is putting it not at the top of the body, not close to the neck, but somewhere in the middle, because you do want it to be sort of lurching over. So I would say it's about 3/4 up the back, not directly in the middle, because you don't want it just to be flat. You want it to be sort of lurching and creepy, because that's what a bat fang is, right? And so you put that hole right there, and that's where your rope is going to go in. And then on the inside is where you tie the rope to either your stick or a PVC pipe, or find some other way of getting that thing on there really strong. And then you're going to be sealing all of that inside the bat fang when you attach the head. When I made the legs and the arms, what sounds funny is that what I was kind of thinking of in my head as I made it was sort of very creepy, either dog or rabbit inspiration, with sort of claws coming out to make it look kind of freaky. And so those are going to just droop there, and the wings themselves are also going to droop there. For the head, what I did with that is I made these pretty big sized ears, and you can go different directions with that, but I really felt like big ears was going to be what was going to help make it look more like a bat. So the shape that I made for the ears were like these, basically it's almost like an upside down heart, except for these ends are not curved, they come to a point. And so that's what each of my ears were, except for once I cut them, and make sure you get them big enough for your balloon. Once I cut them, I curved it and taped it so that it overlapped like that. And that way it created this fun sort of three-dimensional ear shape. As you're attaching the head, you want to make sure that it's attached securely, but not so securely that a child would not be able to destroy it with a bat. For the wings on the poster paper, I just made a very simple arch with a few arches underneath it to make just a really simple wing shape. Now, I didn't want it to be too big because I didn't want him to be drooping down too low, which I did run into that problem. So we don't need to be complicated with these bat fang wings. All I did was just a very simple arch with arches underneath that to make the wings, and then I ended up attaching them together with tape, and that was it. Because I had my rope in already by the time I was attaching my wings, I did have to make sure that the rope could get through the wings. So you can achieve this either by cutting a hole or just putting the wings in a place where they're not going to hit the rope. Now, I just made a very simple face after that, and so I was really relying on the arms, the wings, and the ears to sort of bring it home into this is a bat. But if you wanted to give it more of a snout, like a little bit of a snout, then you could maybe accomplish that by paper macheing over a small cup and letting that dry and then attaching it onto your bat fang. That does introduce a whole other part of this project and a whole other drying time, but it could look cool. If you end up doing something like that, please don't forget to tag me in whatever you make because I would love to see it. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so that you can come on future creative adventures with us and learn how to join your creativity and your love for God. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned because there will be more Wingfeather themed birthday party type instructional videos. I hope that it blessed you. Be so blessed.